I can feel the wind blowing in from the east. I can hear my homeland calling me. Come back to me now. I can hear my homeland calling me. Hear my homeland calling. There's a fire burning in my belly. I can hear my mother calling me. Come back to me now. I can hear my mother calling me. Hear my mother calling me back. Way down the road that never ends, I can hear my father calling me. Come back to me now. I can hear my father calling me. Hear my father calling. Come back to me now. Come back to me now. Come back to me now. Let the wind take you home. Let it take you back. Let it take you home. Let it take you back. Let it take you home. I can feel the wind blowing in. Can you hear me calling out? Come back to me now. I can hear my homeland calling me. Hear my homeland calling. Come back to me now. I can hear my mother calling me. Hear my mother calling. Come back to me now. I can hear my father. Hear my father calling me back. Calling me back. Calling me back. Calling me back.
appliance that was in the house was a record player and the records, and we used to sit and just listen to all amazing, all that music from the 60s and 70s, Bob Dylan and Johnny Mitchell, Neil Young, Cat Stevens, all that good stuff. And then
with Yehuda, it was actually his dad he'd kind of gotten rid of the records.
He thought he got rid of them. He put them under the house.
He got too religious with the records, so they were all under the house. So we used to crawl under there and go through the boxes.
Dig them out.
Like, no! Get out of there!
So there was like that influence, and then obviously there was Shlomo, who used to take us. It's amazing how much respect and he believed in us. He used to take us on the road with him and play with him. I remember David talks about his first gig with Shlomo. You played bass, right? And
yeah.
And
you mean the one where I broke the one string?
The one string you knew how to play.
The truth is, someone on the Moshav told me I was learning how to play the guitar. All the kids were learning an instrument, and one of the grown-ups came up to me and he said, you know, if you buy a bass guitar, I didn't even know what a bass guitar was, but it was like, if you buy one, you can get a gig playing with Shlomo. And
You'll get paid.
Oh, awesome. So I went out, bought the cheapest bass I could find, and voila, you know, the next day, there I am. And it was in Tel Aviv. It was this big show with like huge, you know, all the big Israeli pop stars, Shlomi Shabbat, and I can't remember, but all the big Israeli pop stars. And then Shlomo had a set. It was like, you know, 20 minutes. And I had just bought the bass, and the only string I sort of knew how to play was this one. I barely knew that one.
That's all you need to know, really.
The guy showed me. The guy, you know, he was like the player, you know, the guitar player in the band. He's like, so they all go one, they do this, then you go to here, then you go to here. And I was like, okay. And I was so nervous. It was in front of like 5,000 people. We get out there, you know, holding my bass, looking at it, you know, and standing there, totally nervous. I'm like, you know, 15. And I play the first note, and boom, the string breaks. And I'm standing there, and I don't know. I think I was getting dirty looks from Yehuda's Abba. It was like, why did they bring him?
My father's like, you know, master's degree in music.
And at the end of the show, I was like, oh my God, that's it for me. And Shlomo came up to me and he, you know, was like, Rafa, the greatest bass player in the world. And he gave me probably like 20 shekels. And I thought, I was like, this is the greatest thing in the world. That's it. That's what I'm doing for the rest of my life.
The beginning of the end.
The beginning of the end.
Anyway, you know, then after that, Bill and I would stay up and write music together, and we started going to we figured out that the students, the Israelis weren't interested in us. We were like the American kids, you know, like they didn't know what to make of us. Even at school, we were called the Americans, you know. So we figured out that the Hebrew U students, you know, they speak English, they would probably relate to us. So we went up to we would sit on campus and just jam on the lawn over there, and sure enough, you know, all these students that were there for the year would come around and sit around, and we'd play, you know, lots of songs that they knew, and then we'd start playing our own music. And then we got a gig at this place called Kalba Savua in the Russian compound in Jerusalem. Woo! And that was like our first real gig. Every Sunday night, that was like the scene, and it was packed with all the students and all the yeshiva kids that were in for the year. And we didn't even have a name. They just, you know, they knew we were from the Moshav, so they just said, the Moshav guys, you know, and then the name kind of just stuck. It's the Moshav band. And we would play, and it was really all about the energy, because we didn't really know what we were doing. But God bless them, you know, it was just mosh pits and people crowd surfing. I would crowd surf. It was all about the energy. And then these two Canadian students who, it became like their experience of, you know, the year that they were in Israel, of coming to the Moshav for Shabbat and experiencing that, like Shlomo Shabbos, and they wanted to bring that to college campuses. They had this like vision. And that year was the GA in Jerusalem, which is like the General Assembly. All the Jewish leaders come every year. It's in a different city. And they had this crazy idea that they would go somehow get into the hotel room of Edgar Bronfman. It's like this Jewish billionaire that made money selling whiskey when it was illegal. Of course, good Jewish trick. And somehow they got 5 minutes with him in his hotel room, and they sold this idea to him. We didn't even have any recordings at the time. They played him a tape of Dave Matthews Band, and they said, "This is the band, and they're amazing. They're gonna wake up Judaism on college campuses. We have to take this on the road." And he wrote a check of $50,000 on the spot, and our first tour of North America was happening. And I remember our first gig was in Montreal, Canada, and they had put, they had all this money, so they put all this money in advertisement. I remember that we were on the radio, like it was on the radio, like pushing our show. I remember driving from the airport, and there was a big billboard that said, "The Israeli U2 is coming to Montreal." Moshav.
With a picture of the Dave Matthews Band.
No, they had the picture of us. And it was a sold-out show. It was like 2,000 people at this club, and it was unbelievable. It was Purim. Thank God everybody was drunk, so they couldn't tell how bad the music was. And I remember just rabbis crowd surfing, and it was wild. They were giving us a lot of whiskey, and it was the beginning of the Moshav band, touring. And we were still living in Israel at the time, but anyway, we're so thankful for all of you and all the people that have been supporting us all these years, and to be able to, have our dream. What is it called? Live our dream. We've been living our dream. Playing music for a living is unbelievable. What are we playing? What am I leading up to?
Wake up.
Bella. Good things you can't afford.
Yeah.
All right, let's try Bella. I feel like we should play something old.
My face until I turn back, till I feel those tracks, till I fit my sweet cup. Whoa, Lord, the things you can't afford, more than I can afford, more than I can ever pay. Whoa, Lord, the things you can't afford, but I'll find my way. I will find my way back home again. Born already from the start, sent out like a dart, creating motion, but someone won't track me. Hello USA, from 1,000 miles away, I can feel your pulse beating. Oh Lord, the things you can't afford, more than I can afford, more than I can ever pay. Oh Lord, the things you can't afford, and I'll find my way. I will find my way back home again. Inspired actually by, when you live in Los Angeles, we've been living there for a little while. One of the things that happens is you meet celebrities, or sort of half celebrities. There's a lot of them there. You go to the market, you'll meet a celebrity. You step outside, you step on a celebrity. Whole Foods. Can't miss them in Whole Foods. It's sort of a thing. But this was sort of inspired by,
They're all rich and healthy. Hanging out at Whole Foods.
a friend of mine was babysitting for the granddaughter of an actress, like an older Hollywood actress. Her name was Lainey Kazan. I don't know. She had a granddaughter. Her name was Bella, and my friend was babysitting her. She had kind of a difficult life
for a lot of different reasons, which now that I mentioned the name, I'm not going to get into. She was a special girl and kind of inspired me. The song actually never made it on the record. But how does anyone know of it? Did it come out with something?
A couple years later, we released the deluxe version of Misplaced. Another trick to sell records. Here's the deluxe version with two songs. We'll actually play both songs tonight after this. Standing in the Doorway was one of them. And then Bella.
It must be the first time we've ever played both of those songs.
The same concert, right?
You guys are so lucky. Baltimore. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Not only did we play them, you asked for them, which is even weirder. Bella, close your eyes, and there'll be a morning sun. Though the black sky won't let you believe in one. You'll find your way back, a better way out of here. Though you can't see it now, the world will disappear for you, you beautiful dreamer. Asleep at the wheel with the world flying by you. Soft in your sleep with the secrets you're hiding behind in the back of your mind. And your mother's out, they never could hold you down, with poison in a smile and sugar in your mouth. Now all of the avenues, they pile up one by one, they're falling like dominoes into the setting sun for you, you beautiful dreamer. Asleep at the wheel with the world flying by you, soft in your sleep with the secrets you're hiding behind in the back of your mind. They show in your eyes. Hey, mama, oh. Getting me down, so much negativity's around. I know someday it'll all turn around. All my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't wanna fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children can play. One day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day. It's not about win or lose, 'cause we all lose when they feed on the soul of the innocent. Blood-drenched pavement, keep on moving though the waters stay raging. In this life, you can lose your way. It might drive you crazy, but don't let it phase you, no way. No way. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So much negativity's around. I know someday it'll all turn around, 'cause all my life I've been waiting for, I've
day, one day, one day, one day. Get me high, get me high, get me high. Lord, get me high, get me higher. Lord, get me high, get me high, get me high. Lord, get me high, take me higher, higher. I wanna get you higher, higher, higher and higher. Look at all the time that I'm killing here with a big gun and a small mind. Shame on you, you made your mother cry, and it's too late. You just walk away, start again. Come around every day. You love someone, you gotta love yourself. Sitting on your money, but it don't flow. Watching all the greens flying out of the window. Got a lot of love, 1 ton load up, and now we gon' fly like a dove from above. And they come with a gun and chicky boom boom chicky. Chicky boom boom, chicky boom boom. And they come with the love and the chicky boom boom chicky. A chicky boom boom, chicky boom boom. Well, who cares? It's a day down loud. You know what it takes to make a world go round. When it gives up, and you start again. Take it from the top when the bottom ends. You gotta give love. If you want love back, if you want love back, you gotta face the fact. You help someone, you gotta help yourself. You tell me that you're dying, but you know you have to live. So give what you can give, receive what you believe. Just bring a little piece so this love can be released. Man, it's not like a chicky boom boom chicky, chicky boom boom, chicky boom boom. Man, it's always the love, the chicky boom boom chicky, chicky boom boom, chicky boom. Say everybody wants a dream come Sunday. Put your money in the bank, but it don't stay. Got a lot of love, 1 ton load up, and now we gon' fly like a dove. Say everybody wants a dream come Sunday. Put
put your money in the bank, but it don't pay out. I love one ton loader, and I will fly like a dove. And they come when they go, chicky boom boom, chicky boom boom, chicky boom boom. And they come with the love, chicky boom boom, chicky boom boom, chicky boom boom. Let it come with the love and a chicky boom boom, chicky boom boom, chicky boom boom. Let it come with the love and a chicky boom boom, chicky boom boom, chicky boom boom, chicky.